All right, Infernal Blessings. We are live. Just give me a minute. Gotta do some editing. I'll get our guest in here. Just hang tight for a quick minute while we give everybody a few moments to gather on this lovely Thursday evening. Let me stop. Hang tight, peoples. Hang tight. All right. Let's do a little editing. All right. All right, that does that. Let's go live on Instagram. I think we're good to go. We are good to go. Let me start it there. All right. All right. So, Infernal Blessings to everybody. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Let me get the link over to my guest. Hold on one sec. Okay. All right. Send that to her. We good to go. All right. We want to welcome everybody to the show. Just real quick, while we give it a couple more minutes, we'll get our guest in here tonight for this evening. I'm just going to run through some quick announcements for everybody. As far as for the rest of this month, tomorrow night finishes our month of classes and events on Patreon for the month of July. We culminate and finish up the month with the annual feast rite of Set. As you know, we've been focusing and working with Set for this entire month. We've been doing stuff with the Carnelian stones, rituals, meditations, invocations. You guys have reached out to me and shared your personal work. We're getting together with this, obviously, in the Patreon classes. It's what we've been doing for the last several months. Pretty much through the shadow work classes, focusing on a specific deity for that month to establish a stronger connection and relationship on an individual and personal level with that particular spirit or deity. So this Friday, which is tomorrow night, the 28th, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for those that are Patreon members on Primordial Chaos Patreon page, which is at patreon.com /Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 members and above have access to the class and the rituals, tier 3 and above. So you need to be a tier 3 member to participate in that ritual tomorrow night. I encourage you to check out the Patreon page, the official Primordial Chaos Patreon page, which, again, if you're paying attention to the bottom of your screen, Everything I am telling you is going across the bottom of that screen. That's the best way to participate in the 3 private monthly classes I do every month on Patreon, in addition to a group ritual we do as a Patreon family every month at the end of the month. So we will finish and culminate this month. It's been a great month for those that have done the work with Set, including myself. Always something fresh, invigorating, and new is the best way I can describe working with Set. Always something eye-popping, eye-catching, eye-wearing awareness about yourself. It's just a never-ending journey, and that's the beauty of this path. Never-ending journey. You're constantly growing, evolving, and learning, and I think that's the biggest thing that's different about this path or spiritual practice than pretty much anything else that's out there. All right. So again, I encourage you guys to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 and above is how you get access to all those classes. I will be posting this week. In the next 2 days, I'll be putting up the classes and the ritual for the month of August. That'll be coming shortly. So stay posted for that if you're on the Patreon. As you know, I usually do it the last week at the end of every month. If you are interested in a spiritual reading, the various different readings I offer, just a quick example: telepathic, demonic readings, shadow work readings, as I've said many times before, which is a great place to start. If you're trying to figure out what direction you should be going into, what kind of ritual work should I be doing, or if you need just that personal guidance rather than just being all over the place, random, and not sure what to do. And the shadow work readings focus on what's going on in your life around you at this very current moment. So it's of importance. Deity readings, which give you the information of what particular spirits and demons walk with you, to assist you in knowing more about yourself, not to worship the spirits, but to give you better and higher knowledge of self. Egyptian oracle readings, Santa Muerte readings, you name it. Just reach out to me, and I will send you an email with the information on the cost of the readings and what type of readings I offer. If you're interested in a spiritual consultation, same thing. Specify consultation and a reading are not the same thing. Consultation is just what the word means: to consult about any topic or anything you want to discuss or talk about. Send me an email. Again, information is going right on the bottom of the screen on the ticker there, and I'll send you an email with information for that. The best way, people always reach out, and it's important to pay attention when we're doing the videos, and that's why I put the ticker on the bottom. People will always send me emails. How do I get in your classes? The Patreon, that's the way you get in there. I do all my private classes on Patreon. So the best way to get in my classes is why I'm always saying tier 3. Okay. I do 3 classes privately every month for the last however long I've been on Patreon, 3 years, whenever I started, 2.5, 3 years ago. So that gives you access to 3 private classes and a ritual every month. That is the best way to get into my classes. Now, if you're looking for one-on-one, then a consultation is the way to go. I just want to stress that and be clear. So be clear. If you're reaching out to me for a one-on-one session, you want personal private classes, that would fall under the line of consultation, right? If you are looking to just be a part of the classes I do as a group privately, then patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti, and tier 3 is the way that you want to go and join. That'll give you access to all the classes and the rituals. Journey of the Black Adept Conference number 6. Believe it or not, July is gone. August is upon us. So in about 2-3 weeks, if you want to reserve your spot, register and pay. So if you need information on how much does it cost to attend the conference for all 4 days, we do like we do every year. We have a individual rate for individuals. If you come as a couple, there is a discounted couple rate. If you're coming as a couple, don't be just fronting, pretending like, yo, this is my woman, just so you can get the discount. Now let me stop. But reach out. I'll send that information. Payment can be made just like you guys pay for classes. You could Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. I mean, there's ways to pay. Um, but that information now, if you're interested in that, we are going to start in about 2 weeks to start actually taking payments and reserving spots. We do have a cutoff of about 20 to 25 people for space reasons. And I usually notify if it gets in that range, I will let people know. We do want to maintain a certain level of space because of what we do. It's a 4-day event, which includes rituals. Like I say, Thursday night, we're going to have a meet and greet. Friday, we will have classes and workshops from 9 to 4 with a ritual. In the evening time, same thing on Saturday, pretty much the same type of schedule. And then Sunday, we have a question and answer class from noon to 4 p.m. that I'll do to wrap up the 4 days. It's a great time. It's a fun time for those. Some of you have been there. And there's a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on participation. Last year, we did workshops with how to set up altars, charging candles, how to effectively create rituals. So we try to do a lot of hands-on work that you could apply to your path. And then we had some interesting discussions on various topics throughout workshops. Hoping to get Brother Kevin back. He couldn't come last year, last minute, something popped up. He did something 2 years prior to that with Gematria, which was very interesting. So you never know. But we got some solid ideas we're floating around now. And it's as we approach and get closer, that information now will be going out. And again, it's fun time. Hopefully we see some new people. It'll come with a sense of humor. If you ain't got no sense of humor, you stale, don't come. And know when it's socializing time and we're kicking in and having fun, don't be that buffoon that wants to talk spiritual shit. Like if we chilling, listening to music, eating and vibing, don't walk up to me or anybody else and start asking questions about the clip art, right? Can we just have what we call social decor, know how to exhibit your social skills? Because as I've said before in the past, when we're chilling, eating, vibing, having fun, that's what we're doing. We're chilling, we're eating, we're vibing, we're having fun. Okay? Just want to make that clear. So, but anyway, hopefully we see some new faces out there. Looking forward to it as I do every year. Have some fun. Let me just let's let Raven know I sent her the link. All right, so that's basically what I just wanted to run through before we began. Oh, she's here now. Sorry, I'm just sending her let me add her to the stream. Raven, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How y'all doing?
Everything is good. We can hear you good. I was just ignore my message I just sent. Wasn't sure if you saw it to the email. All right. Well, we want to welcome. We want to welcome back. I know it's been a while. It's been a minute. You know she's around, lurking in the shadows, but it's been a minute since she's been on the show. So figure let's get her back on. Let's kick it. We had a Occult Fireside chat with her. Maybe it was about a year and a half ago, roughly. So we're going to title this video Occult Fireside Chat number 2, because the first one was called the same thing a while back. And because we're going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff, we just figure let's just come up with a neutral title and we'll kick it. And then whatever's on Raven's mind, she wants to talk about, we'll talk about that too. But before we begin, I know a lot of people already know who you are, but more so for the newer people that maybe have never seen you before, or know about you, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? I'll also let whatever your preferred method of contact is that you want to give out. And then we'll talk a little bit in a minute also about your podcast. But go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to be really nice. I'm a really nice person. Okay. I'm a really nice person. That's what I want you to know about me. I don't be around faking the funk. I don't be around here playing in these streets. I don't. Okay. Get serious. Just having fun. Yeah. Well, for all the new people, listeners, hello, I'm Raven from Raven Heka Fireside Chat. I have been taking this journey. It's a journey. For the last, I don't know, 6-7 years. This arena is very vast. The knowledge that you can gain and get and different avenues that you can take are very vast. It's a lot of learning to do, a lot of trial and errors. I'm definitely going through mine, have gone through mine, and just living life. So yeah, I'm just raving. Whatever. I'm just raving. Just raving. Was that a TV show? But yeah. I'm just here, as Baniti stated, lurking in the background.
And
okay,
what's your preferred platform if somebody wants to contact you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Okay, if you're going to contact me, I'm going to say it again. I'm nice. I'm really nice. Please read that. I'm nice. I'm really nice. My preferred method of contact is ravenheka@gmail.com. Go over there. Okay. You want to contact me, holler at me for any reason. I'm available on ravenheka@gmail.com.
Okay, cool. Well, we also know you have recently, within the last several months or so, not sure the exact timeline, somewhere in that range, you have started a podcast with that title, Fireside Chat with Raven. So share with the people.
Over a year. It's over a year old. I know I don't be on there like that.
Over a year old.
It's over a year old. Raven's Fireside Chat. I think it came along around the same time we did the Fireside Chat on Primordial Chaos.
So okay, cool. All right, and it's pretty much available on any platforms that pretty much carry podcasts, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you can Google that, search that. So what are some of the things that you cover on there? Let's just quick example of some topics you talk about on there.
Sure. So Raven's Fireside Chat is exactly that. I try to keep it to be exactly that, a chat. It's not long. I try not to do greater than 30 minutes because it's a chat. It's just something I feel, just to put some thoughts out there, some things I may have encountered or not. I talk about self-mastery from all angles. It's just not so centered on occult. It's really life, because that's what you're trying to master, is your life, yourself, whatever it is you're going through. And I feel, my feeling, thoughts, is that there's different modes and modalities to get to said point. There's even, not just occult things, non-occult things can help you get to where you need to go. And I think a lot of people get lost and trapped into thinking that everything that they are utilizing because they want to take this journey, it has to strictly be occult. And I don't necessarily feel that way. So it is self-mastery by any means necessary. Some of it's pretty, some of it's not. But that's in essence what it is, thoughts and ideas that I feel that may help some people. I'm lining up some guests. We had some scheduling conflicts here recently with life, such as life. But I'm going to start having guests on the show. So if you feel like you want to lend to the conversation, just hit me up, ravenheka@gmail.com. I'm very open to it.
Cool.
Because I'm nice.
Cool. Yeah, I hope you're reading in between the nice. That's basically a polite way to say don't contact me with no bullshit. But anyways, all right. So let's talk about, as we have guests on the show, it's good for the viewers to see different people's perspectives on a lot of the practices and the things we do on this path. Obviously, everybody, as we all know, and we should know, right? Everybody has different methods and approaches, and everybody perceives things differently, and that's what makes this unique. And as we say, there's not one particular right or wrong way to do this, right? The only right way to do this is your way, the way that works for you. I know you're big in this because one of the good things, like with a few of us that are here local, such as like Brother Mike, Kevin, yourself, and some of us that when we are able to get together, you know, so we kind of vibe on a lot of the same work because we're fortunate, all of us, to have that local connection. But shadow work is big, as you know. We talk about it a lot. We talk about it a lot here. We talk about it also a lot here locally. It's a big, strong emphasis for us because it's the root, it's the foundation of the work on this path. So, in your opinion, there's a lot of fluffy shit out there on shadow work, because shadow work is becoming trendy now, right? And a lot of platforms, everybody, you know, there's the new age light and love shadow work. There's the hardcore shadow work. So let's talk a little bit about that. First, your thoughts on some of the stuff you've encountered in different venues, what you've seen in shadow work, and then your definition and explanation. Let's start with that. In your understanding, how do you perceive what shadow work is, and then we'll build from there.
Yeah, no worries. Well, my thoughts first here on this journey. It's a journey. I don't want to call it a path. I'm trying to find that exact wording. I don't like saying path. It's not a path. This shit is a journey. It's not a job. It is life. So when one steps into this, I want to take a journey on the path to occult. If they're really about it, you have to start with the foundation of self. Right. Man, know thyself. You have to know who you are. You have to know what works well for you, what doesn't. You have to understand who you are. If you don't understand who you are, then how can you help or facilitate anything? So for me, self-mastery is exactly what it explains, is that shadow work is working on that. Shadow, what it means, you're digging into things that you may know, you may not know about yourself. Your habits, things you automatically do. Why do you automatically do a thing? Was it something that you naturally have it formed, or was it something that was forced on you and it just became your habit, or, you know, your mode of how you operate in the world, right? A perfect example of that would be growing up, we are told that, you know, you have to, you know, just in the religious realm, be a Christian, be a Catholic, because that's what you were taught. But that may not necessarily be who or what you are here to discover about yourself. But that was one of the modalities that was put upon you. You know, we were taught that we have to learn the ABCDs as ABCD. We weren't taught that we can learn how we want to learn it. And that could be, you know, A, then Z. You know what I mean? Then we can go to C. We're not taught to do things that is comfortable for us. We're taught to do it where it's comfortable for somebody else. So shadow work to me is working on all those things that you are not aware that forms your personality, that forms your emotions, the way you think, the person that you are. Is shadow work all bad? Is it about uncovering all these deep, dark, bad things about yourself? No, it is not. It is also, in my opinion, to exemplify those things that are great for you.
Correct.
Okay. Is some of this journey difficult, or is shadow work can be difficult? Yes, it can be, depending on what we have to uncover about ourselves. And that's why they say the journey is not pretty. So when you have to really look at yourself, there's no one sitting here listening to this here talk tonight can sit here and say they perfect and they pretty and they shit is all together. That's going to be on the negative. We all got something, nasty attitudes. Like I said, I'm nice. Nasty attitudes, or whatever it may be, that, you know, is really could be ugly about ourselves. that we should not, bad parenting. That could be another thing. We could have picked up some really horrible bad parenting from our parents. And we need to discover why we do that, whatever. But to me, that's what it is. What we see out in the netosphere, the netizens are people over the net. They're internet citizens. So all of these netizens that on here, because as Brother Baniti said, it has become a trendy thing. The occult has become a trendy thing. We can even get into that, how it's so trendy to be occult. And they're not about this life, right? And it's okay to be in your lane. It's okay if studying things of a stronger nature is not for you. It's okay if you're not ready to really face who you are, right? Because of your ego, because that's what it is. So if you're not really ready to face who you are, it's okay. You have recognized something. You have Kepher, okay? Or Kepera, however you want to say it. You have reached that. You have now realized something, right? And it's up for you to do with it as thou wish. But I think that a lot of things in this community is, I don't even know what to call it. I don't like be a part of nothing. Okay, but anyway, people latch on to it because it's the new kid on the block, right? It's the cute kid. Everybody want to be friends with the cute girl, the cute guy, right? And I think that's how a lot of even people that, I'm sorry, I keep throwing them air quotes, because people who call themselves practitioners of the occult, right? But and really what they are is not that. But they want to come across because they want something from you, right? So they appear or try to appear to you that they are about their life, and they're not. So it's up for you to be wise and intelligent to understand that. But that's what I say. I see a lot of, and I think that's what happens. A rapper comes along with a good beat, then everybody wants to be on that beat and rap. Everybody want to rap like that rapper. It's the same thing in the occult. You come across, or you may understand something that they don't, but they want to come across as that because they don't want to be left out, because they want to hang with the cool kids. And it's up to each person here to decipher what it is that people are saying or offering. You got to be careful with what you listen to. We have always heard that you just can't just listen to foolishness all doggone day. But
right. Well, we're going to talk about some different layers and fragments of shadow work in a minute. And again, like I said, the beauty of the few of us that are here local, we're able to get together and talk on a personal level. And obviously you're here locally. But let's talk a little bit. Look, the reality is there's some bullshit out there, right? I know this. You know me. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. We do have to be cautious and aware of a lot of the things you just said, because this trendy shit is going to get a lot of people fucked up, whether they're aware of it. They may not be aware of it out there. The problem that I have with it, and I'm not saying, when I'm saying the problem, I'm not saying me personally, but I'm saying the problem I have with it is how it can affect people when they're getting, quote unquote, the wrong message.
Hold on, wait a sec. I gotta give a quick shout out. Yo, bro, where you been? Love you.
Who's that? Who we talking to?
Lyric in the building. Oh, okay. Recognize. Okay. Let me start right here. Okay. I see you, Louie. Hold on, I'm gonna start right here. So when Brother Baniti is talking about this us local group, Lyric was a part of that group in the beginning. As a matter of fact, he is part of the original group, the one of the facilitators of us starting to do a lot of work, getting together to do work locally. He was in Brother
right?
B. Yeah.
That's J-Dub. That's J-Dub, isn't it?
Yes, you got it.
J-Dub, if you got the same phone number, man, you gotta hit me up, bro. Disappeared off the face of the earth. What happened? Stop messing. But yeah, now you're going back to you're going back.
Going back. Yeah.
But yeah, on the topic, we talk about, again, it's more so not, I'm not saying that per se from a personal perspective. When you have what I call fence straddlers, because a lot of things in the last 7-8 years, maybe could be long, I'm just giving a rough estimation, a lot of this shit has become trendy. And there's a lot of people who will reach out and they'll think that they're doing something that's on the left-hand path or the occult. And really, it's nothing but a bunch of watered down New Age, Santeria / Ifa / this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Part of shadow work, why I'm bringing that up, part of shadow work, to me, that's a person who has not really addressed their shadow side, because when you are holding on to things that serve you no purpose anymore and old systems that you can't let go, when you're convincing yourself that you need and you're finding a justification to stay locked in, you can't truly be on this path when you're still confined to those lesser spiritual systems. That to me is a sign you're not working on the shadow self. So let's talk about layers of shadow work. Let's talk about, and you could share some of your, I mean, you could, personal things can be shared discreetly. We ain't got to give detailed information. I tell all the guests that, you share how you want to share just to get your points across. The programming, let's start with that. The religious programming, the, family programming, because a lot of us, depending on where we grow up regionally, our ethnicity, our religion, that plays a part in what type of program when we've been affected. So let's talk a little bit about that in relationship to you and shadow work in general. When you came on this path and started doing shadow work, what did you have to find yourself having to, reprogram yourself, or deprogram first and then start to reprogram yourself? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Wow. Yeah. So I guess it could be a lot about, like anyone else, when they come on it. So what led me here? What led me on this path was that I was highly unsatisfied in the Christian world. It just did not make sense. It hadn't made sense for years. But as I stated earlier, you kind of do what you're taught, right? So I did what I was taught, but the older I got, just the worse it got. It just the Bible just did not make freaking sense to me at all. But you tread along, you go along with it, but it's sitting there like, this shit don't make no sense. This cannot be true. This bipolar motherfucker, this shit, this, why, right? But you go along with it. So let me just say this here. When you are serious, not coming over here to play occult, not coming over here to, be with the cool kids. When you are serious about it, spirit will know it. Your spirit will know it. And it's going to start making those adjustments immediately. It's going to be uncomfortable, and you have to address it. Now, that time frame for addressing is different for everybody. This path is a walk. This journey is a walk that is different for every single one of us here. It is different. But what got me was that things were not adding up for me. It didn't make sense. It didn't feel like that was where I was supposed to be. And it's just interesting how I got. I'm sorry. I got an incoming call. Oh, y'all, let me decline.
But it it is different for every one of us, right? Let me just back up a little bit. That kind of threw me off. But what got me here is that I was supposed to be here. Once you recognize that, you have to go with the flow. To fight it, to constantly crawl backwards or go backwards just makes your work or working on yourself harder. Because you have now reached a certain point of awakening for yourself to know that something isn't right. Once you start this here, that's just the start, right? That's your first peek into the shadow. Once you unveil something that you know something isn't right and take a different avenue, for me, my thoughts, that's your first peek. The next thing is that is the okay moment, right? Okay, what I do next. And that is you have to look at your life honestly. So the world religions teaches you everything outside. Then there was a lot of part of my a big part of my issue was that this outside person ain't shit. Who the fuck? They ain't doing shit. Right? So, but once you learn that you feel it already. You really do, honestly, I believe, feel it already. But once you commit yourself to saying, okay, I got to make some changes. Then that's your next peek into the shadow. Now the work is all of those things in between there. What Brother Banini is talking about are those layers, the different layers to the work. So I know I went all around the world, but that's just to say that for me is how I got going in shadow work. Now, personal stuff, look, this is work. It's nothing light. It has made me at moments go goddamn. I have had experiences that would make you like, what the hell am I doing? But once you are committed and see the growth from it, and when there are individuals that know you around you can see the growth, then you know you're doing something right. Then you know you're working on yourselves. Let me tell you, a lot of these people that's around here talking about shadow work don't know NAM, don't do NAM. Because let me tell you, they're the same person last year as they are today. If you pay attention to people, you will see it. You will see they're the same person last year as they are today. Their story doesn't change. Their behavior doesn't change. How they're just the same person. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So the religious programming, or well, I don't even want to just say the programming, but the effects, because as I say all the time, most of us here, for the most part, that have grown up here in the West, in the United States of America, we're exposed to it to a certain degree. I know everybody likes to say, I mean, a lot of people, a high percentage of people were raised in it to a certain degree, some more strict or fanatical, others maybe not so much, and others it was just part of the upbringing. And then there's the small percentage of people, they'll go, oh no, I wasn't raised in it at all. And I get that, but I still try to tell people we're raised in a society and an environment where it's everywhere. So we're all exposed to it. Lifestyle is a big thing because where you're raised, even here in the United States, regionally, we know in the South, it's more known like the Baptist form of Christianity, or the real, Bible Belt Christians. There's different levels of this shit. So the religious thing and how it affects all of us. And you shared it. Like, so as you looked into it, as you said, you knew there was more out there. Now, on a psychological level, before we move on to another layer of, how do you think, regardless of what form of Christianity, what branch, because we know there's fucking million of them, But how do you think, before you became aware of this path and started to follow this path as your journey, when you reflect back on it now, obviously, when a lot of us are embedded in shit like that, we don't see it because we're in it, which is obvious. Coming out of it and looking back, how do you think it had your mindset? Maybe I know you alluded to it a little bit. How do you think it affected you mentally in your approach in everyday life?
Well, looking back, being those, okay, it's not that it doesn't really empower you, right? It doesn't. So let me just say this here. I'm just gonna frame this here again. My journey has been different from everyone else's journey. My life has been different from everyone else's life. My level of trauma, because I have gone through trauma, is different from everyone else, and how it displayed itself out in my life is different from everyone else, right? So to be in religion, and Baniti, honestly, I don't care where you are on the globe, you are entrapped into some type of religious modality, unless you just nomad living. It's just my thoughts. Okay, but for me, it teaches you to, Christians have a thing talking about long suffering. That's bullshit. Ain't no such thing as long suffering. There's no such thing as turning the other motherfucking cheek. There's no such thing as accepting when someone has wronged you. There's on a detrimental level, that's bullshit. Right. But they teach you to be weak, right? And it teaches you to be weak in one form or another. And then coming onto this path, this one teaches you, this knowledge teaches you and gives you empowerment. It empowers you because you are really relying on yourself. You really know that it is you, I'm sorry guys, and only you that correct things. So it empowers you to let you know that you have it, you can do it, other than other paths. And that's my thing. A lot of family dynamics can go into that. So let me just say that as well. But for me, because I can only speak from my experience, that's what it is. Those other paths just weaken you. They do not give you what you need to be sure and knowing of yourself. Yeah, knowing of yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, and that brings us to the second one. You kind of just mentioned it a few seconds ago. Let's also talk about, because like we say, in shadow work, there's the good, the bad, the ugly, right? It's not, as we said earlier, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but we're not, so much concerned, as we said earlier, the things that are productive, uplifting, and strengths of yourselves. You continue to build on them. Those are the easier things, right? So more in this dialogue with shadow work, we're focusing on a lot of those things that we've been avoiding for years, or people avoid about themselves for years, knowingly and unknowingly. Because part of doing real shadow work, you uncover a lot of shit that was hidden there, that there's stuff you find out you did not know. So there, there's that stuff too. But you mentioned family upbringing. This is a big one. Let's talk about the importance of having mother-father energy in our lives growing up. But let's also talk about it from a male-female perspective, the importance of a female having a male figure there and a male, how it affects the family household, and then how it can affect the individual in the later years of their life. I mean, we could talk about it from a personal and then overall perspective, because this is a huge thing. I've seen, and you know this too, from being in the shadow work classes and from the work that we do down here in Florida, and you know, being here, you being in this area, you know this, right? This seems to be a big one. People seem to carry. Now, it's fortunate if you come from a good household, both parents were productive in your life, but high percentage, that's just not the case all the time. The reality, I happen to be in that small percentage. I was fortunate, so I don't have too many gripes in that area. I mean, there was shit that went down, like you say, we all got shit. But how would you say, first, in your experience with this yourself, and then overall, did you know, later a lot of people find out in life that sometimes their connection with their parents, if it was toxic, how that can affect them in the later years of their life? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's important, and overall, to have that balance of energy, because each parent brings something to the table, right? Each parent is bringing not only just their own perspectives, but it definitely is a different kind of energy when you do have both parents in your life. My parents were separated, but to a certain extent, I really had my father in my life. And I guess I'm lucky in this here sense. I'm going to say this here. I've never been one shy, at least to my mom, to express how I felt. That I didn't like it, or if I needed answers, I needed answers. Her response to that was something totally different, though. But I was never shy to express that. But having, you know, I would say this: some children can thrive in a one-parent household. They do just fine. Some do not. Some really do need that balance of energies. They may need that firmness that, you know, typically like a father gives to the softness of a mother, right? Or vice versa, however those roles are played out in the household. But each child is different. I'm just going to say that, because I do know some, you know, people can, or some children can really thrive and be just fine in one family households, whether they're just with the father or they're just with the mother. But it can give a person a sense of lack of self-worth when there's an imbalance.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I see this over the years, obviously, you know, dialoguing with different people, conversation here and there, out and about, you know, traveling locally, whatever. This seems to be a big one, because what I see sometimes is, sometimes in the failure they might have had with their parents, like I said before, if you were in a situation, and there's a lot of people that I've worked with over the years that, you know, they were told, maybe they were verbally abused by their parents. They were, you know, told they weren't going to be shit. You ain't worth nothing. And usually an abuser in any form, for the most part, not all the time, whether it's verbal abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, usually that person is projecting onto that individual what was projected upon them. And that doesn't make it justified. Okay.
No, it doesn't make it justified, but it's up to, see, this one, you know, we have this thing. I don't know about any other families, but we definitely have this thing. I know in my generation for sure, is that we try to do better so that the next generation does better. Right? We about correcting those things that may have been done wrong to us. So we are the correction. And so therefore, when our children grow up, they further the work, right? And I believe that's what it's all about, right? they further it. Whether they better, they can build on something really good, or they can continue to tear down something that is really bad and turn it into something better, right? But we're big on that. So like for my children, you know, it was all about protection, right? Protecting my children, right? So for them, it could be, you know, I don't know, whatever hell, whatever. I want to get personal, but whatever it is, it could be that for them. So it's all about each generation improving on the next. Now, if you are an individual who has been done wrong, because again, I'm going to say I had trauma. The trauma I've had, some people continue, as Brother Beniti said, some people will continue that on to their children, right? But again, if they are on this path, shadow work will definitely help them get to that correcting point if they want to, because you cannot. I don't think you can take this here walk and do what you do. I just don't think, and not working with the energies that we work with, I don't see how that can go down. I just don't. That's me, my opinion. That's me with my interactions with different energies. So there you go. I just don't see how that can go down. I don't see how you can continue to do something like that, right? But this is a part of shadow work, and that is something, again, we should be working towards making life better. Everybody wants their life sweet. So to make it sweet, you got to get down in the gutter sometimes and pull out your bones, right? And do what you need, grind them up, make some powder, do what you got to do with those bones. You got to make something new out of it. You just can't let it sit there and, you know, like the church teach, everything's going to be all right. It ain't going to be all right. What it's going to do is continue to give you this downward spiral and make you sick one way or the other. So there you go. Yeah.
So like, you know, in a situation like that, like I've said many times before, you know, you see this happening and you just, you know, you kind of touched on it, you know, and part of addressing it or doing the shadow work would be, you know, addressing that and making that change, that adjustment. Because unfortunately, I see a lot of us on this path projecting how we were treated or our failures onto our kids. You know, you see it in the way sometimes they talk to their children. And then usually it's a telltale sign of the way the children respond back, because it's what they're learning. Right. And this is the shit about doing this type of work that nobody wants to discuss, because it's very tedious. It's very frustrating sometimes. And it's work. And obviously you would have to have some type of parental experience to relate. So maybe some of you younger folks that don't have kids, you can't relate on that level, but you maybe can relate if you have similarities with your, you know, your relationship with your parents. So for an example, just so the listeners are clear, let's just say this happens, like you were raised and maybe as a child, one of the things I'll use from a male perspective, because obviously that's how I can connect. One issue I always had with my father growing up was he was just never around for like sporting things, you know, things that I felt a father should be around for. Now part of it, to his, not to defend, I mean, he had to work a lot, right? But there was probably times he could have did what he needed to. I'm just using something basic like that. So you can harbor resentment for that as you get older, or maybe you were never given the respect, or you never got the support and encouragement to maybe at that time when you were younger to proceed a certain career path, to try to seek out something you do. Maybe you didn't get that support. So long story short, now you fast forward to the present day, if you're a mature adult and you got children. So how you change and you fix that is you make sure, like you said, that pattern don't repeat itself. So let's just say you have a child and they play sports, right? And when you played sports, you didn't get the support. This is how you break the cycle. So now you do the best to your ability to go to your daughter's volleyball games or her soccer games or your son's football games or baseball games. what you don't realize on a subconscious level, not only is it applying support for them, you're actually healing yourself, whether you're aware of it or not. You do get to some point where you are aware of it, right? So people always ask, how do I address these things? So one thing I want to put out there too, which is pure bullshit. I get a lot of people that will reach out and go, yeah, this person told me that if I do this ritual, it's going to remove all the stuff. That person fucking lied to you, because that person is not showing you how to do real shadow work. Yes, you get it to a point where it's not affecting your evolving and growing and becoming the best you can be. You put it in its right context, okay? But anybody that's going to tell you you're going to light a few candles, say an invocation here and there, and poof, puff the magic fucking dragon, and all your problems are gone, that's a dangerous person. Stay the fuck away from them, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, okay? The reality is, and I just want people to understand why that's bullshit. And this is something that's been coming clear lately when I'm talking about time. When we're talking about the now, everything is the present moment. I want somebody to reflect on this. What you thought was 10, 15, 20 years ago, things you reflect on in your childhood, something traumatic that could have happened 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago, or something good or something positive. It's still happening in the present moment, because everything is the now. We're simulating it as past. We're simulating things as future. And this is why I keep trying to tell you guys, one way to address these things is breaking that illusion of linear time and understanding how, when we talk about cycles, this is why this stuff, this is the good reason why some people always say this, like with the religious programming and shadow work. People will find, how many people, you get this too, we talk about this a lot, how sometimes people will be on this path for a while, and then all of a sudden some religious shit pops up out of nowhere in their mindset. It could be in their practice, their way of thinking. What causes it? Yeah.
Fear would come along and put them back the way they started.
Yeah. But it goes to show you how embedded things can be in the subconscious mind. And that doesn't make it a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person or a weak person. It just goes to show you, to the extent that you are a sum total of your experiences in the sense of what you've been through, but it only defines you, especially the bad things, if you accept that and embrace that. And that's why I tell people all the time, your circumstances don't dictate to you who you are. They're a reflection of what you've been through, where you came from, and they are part of the reason why what's standing in front of you at this moment now, good and bad, could be explanations of why you might have a bad attitude, or you're angry all the time, or maybe you mask things, you got fears, insecurities, or maybe you're just super perky and happy all the time. All right, there could be a positive effect. We have to understand that in going into shadow work. Because if we don't, then they got this other fake ass approach. I love people. I'm just going to go in there and devour everything. Roar, and all that. I'm so fucking dark and I eat everything and devour everything. That's a bunch of bullshit too. Because I simply ask people that do that, okay, if you keep devouring and taking and eating and destroying, what are you replacing it with? Can't say nothing.
That's not doing shadow work. So to me, when you are addressing, and as you stated, we do these in the, guys, take the shadow work class. It is great. Ritual. So when we are utilizing rituals to help us understand or facilitate, to open up to things that we may not be aware of, that's what it does. The word is work, and those two things is shadow work. It's work. That means that 24/7, you are working on work, correcting those things that may need to be corrected, i.e., coming in from work, having a temper tantrum, or just being mean and nasty to your family because you're tired, talking nasty, putting your children down, calling them bad names or whatever, right? You have to do that's the work part. Rituals can help you uncover what you may not be so consciously aware of, but you have to put in work, and there's different ways that you can do that. But the most important way is to be cognizant 24/7 of your triggers, what trigger you to behave a certain way, what gets you going. And I think that's what is missing. People want to talk about shadow work as if it's this glorious thing. To me, it is not a glorious thing. It is a continual work. It is a continual work. It's continually understanding again what your triggers may be. Maybe that little fucking hyena, I like to say it like that, hyena on the job that work your everlasting goddamn nerves. Right. It could be bad management. It people driving on the road. You know, it could be a lot of things that can trigger you. You have to figure out, like, why the hell is that triggering me? And, you know, as Baniti was saying, it could be just your experiences, you know, growing up. But again, all shadow work isn't bad, because you can uncover some really good stuff about yourself that you're not tending to. Because you're so cluttered with all that other crazy stuff that's going on. So, so on this path, we're also taught, you know, when you are, well, that's what it is. When you dissolve something, you coagulate it into something else. Energy never dies. It just transforms into something else. And that's what we do. So I don't understand this. Okay. This having to appear deep, dark, and wow, it's just crazy as hell to me. You crazy. If this was you got to be round, devouring shit all the goddamn time. That tells me that you don't have no confidence in yourself. You lacking confidence, and it's something in you that needs to be addressed. That's what that says to me. And someone comes, I just devour. What the fuck? Are you, what the fuck? Like, what's going on with you, dude? Like, I will be asking them, like, why do you have to feel like you have to have this sense of, and I think that's too, is the other misconception of the left-hand path, is that everything is this dark, deep, devouring, dark and deep, devouring. And I don't think so. Then that comes to the next point. Are they really doing the work, or are they just putting it out there to appear as if there's something? Well, they are doing that, putting it out there to appear as if something that they are not. And so they are not.
I run into, unfortunately, a lot of these motherfuckers, man. And it's hilarious to me. It puts me to sleep. And be like, yeah, man. And I was like, it's just too much. It's overbearing. And I think it's for a lot of reasons. I think a lot of it's ego driven. I need attention. I ain't get enough of breast milk, you know, all that shit. But go ahead anyway, before I move on to the next thing.
No. But you're right. So we're back to that. You have to be careful what you because all it's going to do is, in the end, it's going to really fuck you up. It's going to set you back. It's going to fuck you up. So be concerning about what you hear. You say, my bad, my phone rang. Okay, I saw that. I just love my brother. Okay, anyway, just be careful about what you hear. And be careful about people that's playing both sides of the fence. They're really going to destroy you. Okay. Be careful about that. But this is all a part of getting to know thyself, right? and knowing and having that confidence in yourself, like knowing people are idiots. It's okay. I don't care how long they say they have been doing occult. People could be doing occult for 30 years and they're idiots. The only thing they have mastered is knowing how to finesse you at your coin. Okay, because that's what they're coming for. They're coming for your coins. That's what they're coming for. So what they have mastered in those 20 years is how to finesse you at your coin. And don't let them do that. Just don't let them do that. But yeah, so that's the shadow work stuff. Yeah, again, it is important for a child to have that balance. That's my cat. That's my cat. She's gonna holler. Use her. The balance of both parents in the home. But if that's not a possible thing, again, it's up to you as that individual to recognize and be cognizant of making those steps of change. And it is critical, as Baniti stated, because we all have experienced it. Like, for instance, I alluded to it earlier. I don't have a problem with addressing something that I don't understand. But man, even into adulthood, my mother had a problem with addressing what I addressed. Like she just couldn't get the words together. She just would sit there and be silent. And that would infuriate me and make me angrier, because I'm coming to you. I'm supposed to come to you.
Nothing.
But you can't formulate. You can't speak back to me. But only thing I did, I did it purposely, was that I continued the conversation. The older I got, I just continued the conversation. I just wouldn't let it stop. And so that now, like even now, if I'm doing shadow work and something to come up, luckily I can go to my mother and say, hey, I was doing such and such and this happened, and we can have a conversation about it. And if there's something that she needs to say, I apologize, or I can say, I apologize, I was out of pocket. You know what I mean? We can do that. So I'm just lucky, like on that level, to do that kind of correction. But again, that's all about putting in that work.
Right. All right. So let's talk. Oh, hold on. Lost you there for a second. My bad. Let's talk. This part of me, I spilled something real quick. So if you heard something drop, that's what that was. So let's talk a little bit now. We mentioned ritual work. Okay. There's obviously so many different things you could do on this path, ritual work, right? Because what we deal with is so vast. But I think the important thing, here's another thing I think that we need to address. I sometimes see people all over the place because they're maybe don't have a foundation. Maybe they're not sure in which direction they should be going. So they might randomly just start, kind of just going with wherever they feel like they need to go. And that could be a good thing. Oh, what happened? We lost you. You still there?
That's me. I'm listening. That's the cat. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, no. I just was asking because your camera went off.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay. No. I just want to make sure. It wasn't on this end. Working random. I mean, don't get me wrong. This path is eclectic. It is chaotic. There's things that sometimes just come at you in waves you got to deal with. But I think everybody needs to have a personal foundation, especially when it comes to ritual work. Because sometimes you see people are doing shit and then they got some other shit going on. And it's like, why aren't you dealing with that? And you working on some shit that really isn't of importance. So let's talk about, because we work with so many different things on this path. We work with many different spirits and demons, Lucifer, Lilith, Kali, like Set, we're focusing on this month. What's the importance, one, of understanding deity or spirit in relationship in accordance with the ritual work that you're creating and designing in your life. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
I'm
My
here. I'm
take
just
on
wiping something up, just so you know. I'm here.
no,
Just wiping
no
something
worries.
up. Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, no worries. Just as in everything else, you need to have a foundation. You can't write without knowing letters, right?
Right.
So in everything, you need a foundation. You can't build a house without, a foundation. And that's in essence what you're doing. So you can't incorporate, the different energies, the different deities into your work. You can do that 100%. Right. And you can be consistent. I'm trying to, anyway, okay. We do a lot of work with a lot of different energies. But the deal is that we work with a lot of different energies, but we're not sitting here trying to work with every last single energy all the damn time, right? That doesn't make any sense. You can utilize one. For instance, I work with one deity. That's my deal. That's who I have. That's who came to me to open me up, made me realize some things. And I just work with that one regularly now. And I also do work, as Brother Baniti said, I'm looking over there because that's where, some of my altars are. I do Egyptian Heka work. I work with darker energies. I work with Kali. Kali has her own world over there. I work with Kali, right? But I will utilize those different ones for different things. Now, I can have my main deity that I work with and just work with on just life, right? Life, since we're talking about shadow work, right? Or things of that nature. I'm sorry, guys, I'm a cat. But you can utilize those different ones to assist you on your path because they lend a different type of energy to certain things. And as Baniti stated, like this month, we're doing work with Set, right? Set is the great initiator. Set is the one. Sometimes I think of Set,
right.
He removes and replenishes, right? He can take away and put back. So if you're trying to help cut some things out of your lives, just think about you can utilize the energy of Set. And if you go back to the stories, the mythologies, whatever you want to call them, I'm sorry, this cat drives me crazy.
Man, you better get that cat under control.
Yeah, you saw I popped this. She hopped down. I had to spank that butt. She's just doing too much. She want to play, and you could think about the story of Set and Horus. Set and a pep, and you can utilize that energy for whatever you need to utilize it for. The same with Kali. Kali. Energies like Kali comes across very motherly to me, maybe just me. And it's not all about, that brings it back to the deep and devouring, right? But they can help you remove some things for you to replenish it with something else. And that is what this here journey is to me. You're taking away and you're removing. That's life. That's life. That's the cycle of life. Something comes in, something goes out. Something is born, something dies. That's life, and you have to utilize, or you can utilize and work with different deities to help you on your path to self-mastery, or in your shadow work. But it definitely is work. That's all I got to say. Shadow work is work.
Right. So again, now I'm hearing you say, like you say, you might have, when we all do, we might have patriarchal spirits that we work with, deities we've established more of a stronger connection to, and it's normal. But like you say, you work with a multitude of different energies. And as I said, this path is eclectic, right? It is chaotic, but there has to be some type of personal order. And I say personal order because it is an individual path of isolation to a degree, right? And I think an issue, and again, I speak this from my experience, from what I see and what I experience. The issue is, I think some people don't have their own personal rooted foundation. They'll say shit like, "You think I should be doing this? You think I should be doing that?" And they're all over the place. And I say, you're answering the question by just simply saying, "Do you think I should be doing it?" The answer is no. Okay.
Well, if they are okay, are they not just confident, or do they not have enough knowledge? I don't know, because I think I just dived into it. I don't think I had those questions. I think I just dove into it. It's like you gain a certain level, so that tells me that they're not trying to gain a certain level of knowledge to know where they need to go. And sometimes you may have to start off doing those things, i.e., that may be seem of a lighter nature, working on your chakras, right? Like doing chakra work, right? Something is that can lead you to a great revelation of where you need to go, but you have to understand the work that you're doing on your chakras. But anyways, you have to understand things. But that just tells me that they are not doing the work themselves to gain knowledge to know where they need to go. I don't know. And I think that's the problem with world religions, because they have taught us to ask where we need to go, what we need to do next. We're looking to someone else that we feel that are in a position of authority to tell us what's next. We're taught that from church to school to university to work, right? What do we need to do next? So that's what it tells me, that they don't have enough knowledge, or even trying to gain enough knowledge to make those choices. I think I just dove into it. I think I gained enough to feel comfortable and just went for it. I didn't try to, definitely at that time, overthink it. I definitely was in there for the experience and to go for it. But experience is the greatest teacher. I mean, you can have someone tell that person, well, maybe they need to do this, but that might not be where they need to start. So, yeah,
right.
That's yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, there are people, like you say, such as yourself, and I pretty much did a lot of that myself too. Some people have the ability to just dive right in, right? So more so, I'm referring to, there are a lot of people obviously that don't. Okay, that's just a reality. It's not being judgmental. It's not putting a knock on anybody.
No, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just saying that they didn't do enough studying. They didn't try to gain enough knowledge. And I think that's the issue, because that's still a lot of these like a lot of YouTube channels that I used to follow, I don't even follow anymore, because people in their chats and things of that nature look to them as like, tell me what I need to do. Oh, I'm like, man, like, get some cojones, do something with yourself. Because if you're constantly doing that, again, you're giving people more power over your life than you should be giving them. And you're going to stay stuck. And again, they're going to do you more harm than good. I don't know. If someone would have come to me and say, where do I go from here? I think I would have played that question back on them, just to see and hear what they have to say. Because 9 times out of 10, they probably already have the answer, but just unsure themselves and want you to confirm.
Right. Yeah. All right. So what we'll do soon is, and I see you guys typing comments, questions. We'll do like we did last week. You can type questions in the chat. Just keep the questions there. So when we get to that soon, they're there. Keep them flowing. We'll run through. We'll try to get to the best of our ability. We'll try to get to as much as we can, time permitting. If you want to come in live, we'll do like we did last week. You can come in live. I know Taj is in the building. I see some of you people in here. Might want to come in live. We'll do it like we did last week. It was very orderly, very organized. Please don't come in ghetto as hell. And what I mean by that is background noise, shit like that. Be considerate of other people. This is why I don't really do it too much, bringing people in, because some people don't have social media etiquette. Background etiquette is what I'm talking about. You got shit going on in the background, you got noise, you got people behind, please keep your shit on mute. Don't unmute your shit. We don't all need to hear what you're eating for dinner. We don't need to hear who you're talking to. And we don't need to hear your kids or noise running around. Okay? Just being honest. I'll manually mute you, but sometimes people don't realize they're unmuted and we could hear all the background noise. So we want to keep it orderly. Just want to put that out now. So when we get to that point, if you come in live, be very conscious. If you have background noise, stay on mute. Okay. And I'll go to, jump in order from person to person like we did last week. And if they got a question, we'll go to that. We'll rotate back and forth from the chat. And if anybody decides to come in live, I'll put the link in there shortly. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the things that we are talking about, personally, in my opinion, and I just say it's an opinion, but I can tell you, you're going to find this out to be a factual thing on this path. When I was bringing up the foundational thing, because for an example, I see people come in on this path, and like you said, you got to do the work. I see people come on this path. They don't do any shadow work like they're supposed to, as far as addressing what the fuck they got going on inside of here. I don't see them doing any type of demonic integration work that's related to it, as far as awakening the personal daemon within, activating the higher self, whatever you want to call it. Because to me, that's the root. That's the foundation. You're building a house. You need that. So they'll bypass all of that. And then they'll just come on this path and they'll start doing hardcore work with Lilith. They'll do shit with Kali and Lucifer. And then they wonder why a couple months later down the road, their life is in fucking pure chaos and turmoil. Their personal life is all fucked up. Mentally, they're destroyed. People underestimate the power of the energy that we're working with on this path. So I think it's like you said, it boils down to the category. They didn't do their research enough. I don't think they studied enough, and that's preparation, right? And that is preparing yourself. Now, granted, there's, like you said, there's people, me, you, and many others, I'm sure people watching too, that have the ability to just dive in. That happens. But unfortunately, some people think it happens for everybody, and it doesn't work for everybody. Okay. And we have to be aware of this. And that starts with being aware of yourself. You're supposed to know via your shadow. So for an example, real quick, just so listeners understand what we're talking about, and a lot of things you said have sparked this. If somebody's dealing with a lot of psychological or mental issues or mental problems, it probably wouldn't be advisable for them to dive into certain things at the moment. It doesn't mean they can't resolve, handle them, work on them. It just means that's a person maybe that has to take a totally different approach as opposed to somebody who may be more sound in body, mind, and spirit. I'm talking about just sound in general. They don't even have to be on this path. Maybe they came on this path and they've been a solid person. Mentally, they've always had that tenacity, regardless of what's going on in their personal life. They might have personal issues, personal problems, but it's not affecting them to the point on that mental level where they still have that ability to kind of dive in. But I've seen it wreck people, man. And then you can't, the person, you can't tell them shit. All the shit we were joking around before, even though we were joking, it's true. I'm so deep, I'm so dark, I fucking know everything. And them usually the ones that fall flat on their face all the time, 90% of the time. They're the first ones gone. All the rah-rah motherfuckers that come on this path, they're the first ones out all the time. We see this. You've seen this over the years down here. You're right down here with me. I mean, like you say, Jason, J-Dub, he was there in the beginning. We've seen people come and go, right? You've been down here doing this with me since, 2015, 2016. And when we think about the first, and it's funny because every time, we do this, that stuff comes up because we deal with it. You reflect back on the people we used to see back then and how many of them any of them is still really around when you really think about it, right? So my thing is knowing yourself, like that old saying, know thyself, thou shalt know the gods, right? Knowing yourself is key. That's why I love Dr. Bynum, right? Because he addresses a lot of the psychological stuff. And I think it's important, right? Knowing yourself is uncovered through shadow work. That's my whole point. Okay. That's how you're going to learn to understand who you really are. Now, who you think you are.
That's how you're going to, not to cut you off, but that's how you're going to be able to work with these energies, these deities that we work with. Because your mind got to be damn near right. I ain't saying it got to be right, but got to be damn near right. You got to be able to face your issues. You got to be able to see, and I think that's the issue. People come on this path and they think it's all, we're going to do all this, play African, we're going to play African, we're going to do all this African stuff. But the minute that because they feel comfortable in that space, but the minute you switch it to something like, as you're stating, working with these older energies, like Lilith, they don't know how to facilitate that energy. And then it's chaos. But just doing the work within itself. So if you're properly going to ritual work, knowing what you're doing the work for, right?
Right.
Then you're better equipped to handle the chaos that comes. But if you're just going in there not understanding what you're doing and you're just doing stuff, it's going to spin 1,000% out of control. But you have to know what you're doing. You have to set as Baniti is alluding to, you have to have a foundation. You have to know what you're trying to build. If you don't know what you're trying to build, how do you know which way you need to go? You have to know what you're trying to build. And that's why it's so important to have a foundation, to have something that you're doing constantly, something that you're working on, right. Constantly. As you state all the time, Brother Baniti, the 5 areas of people activity, you have to be working on that all the time. That's your foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the harder thing.
Don't me.
No. The harder thing I think to do is, how do you keep fueling your magic 24/7 subconsciously? For an example, I mentioned this several months back in the video. I don't think anybody really understood what I was saying, because ain't nobody really commented on it, spoke on it. I'm sitting here right now. Everybody, this viewer is here watching. You're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does one, and I do it all the time, as I'm sitting here talking to you, right? How do you continue to exist in your mundane existence, your everyday life, but how at every moment, at every time, people use this term. There's another thing I'm hearing a lot in certain circles: ritualize your whole life, right? Right.
Oh,
This
that's
is
a new
something.
term.
Say it again.
That's
Yeah,
a new term.
yeah. That's another new trendy thing in the last 6-7 months. I would say, whatever. But I'm hearing this pop up a lot more in different circles. I hear people saying it to me. I get emails about it. I'm ritualizing your whole life. Literally, is every moment, every second, every breath you take. Now, how the fuck do you do that? Right? That's the question. The question is, how do you do that? So if I'm talking right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? As I'm talking, I'm still fueling my magic and my intent at all times in my subconscious mind. I'm doing that as I'm speaking these
Gotcha.
words and saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it. That's how you ritualize your entire life, morning, noon, and night. Because I'm hearing this term, but I'm asking people to explain, right? I'm not talking about moments and incidents as well. They say there was an incident, such and that, and my whole life is. I get that. That's on the that part I get. I'm asking to really master this shit. How in every moment, every second, and every breath you take, do you carry that practice out? Because that's what takes you from one level to the next level, right? And again, I can't put that in words for anybody, right? That's something one experiences, because people say, well, how do you know what happens? Nobody can give you a date, a time, a calendar year, any of that shit. You'll know, trust me, it'll be clear as day. And here's how you know. This is what that old spiritual saying is: do without doing. This is what people don't. There's so many different interpretations on that saying. Also, it don't mean you just lay back because you're the shit. You don't have to do anything, or you're so deep and heavy. No, what it means is you have true understanding of self. That concept I just explained is do without doing. Because I'm sitting here right now giving the appearance, just like many others could be, that I'm not doing anything, right? But I'm sitting here the whole time still focused on my magic, my intent, what I'm accomplishing, but I'm still engaged on what I'm doing here. This is what I mean when I've been saying for the last several months that's going over some people's head. You live in two parallel universes that exist side by side. And you're jumping in and out of them at all times, whether you're conscious of it or not. You can call it the subconscious realm or the subjective realm and the objective, or whatever the fuck you need to call it to help you understand it. Once you, and that's cycles. That's what I mean about cycles and cyclical time. Linear time will get you fucked up with it, because once you start putting beginning and end and time frames and parameters, that's why if you go back years ago to a lot of the old classes we used to do, I used to say, don't put a time frame or a parameter on the void or the abyss, the beginning and the end and all that stuff that religion does. Because that's what's the first verse in the Bible. In the beginning, God with the British voice, the British accent. But when we use that term that we're hearing a lot lately, ritualizing your entire life, that's what it really is. Now how an individual does that, right? And to what level or degree, that process, again, is going to vary from individual to individual, because what you got going on in your life. That's why we're talking about the shadow work. We're talking about a lot of the things that we're discussing tonight, right? So you sparked a lot of that, and that's, I'm sitting here thinking about this. Again, if you see me sitting here like this, don't think I'm disengaged. I know some people can misinterpret that. When I'm like this, I'm thinking, I'm here, but I'm here, okay?
And well, let me add this to that, though, Banini. Let me add this to that. So that I didn't know that was a new term. I'm so far removed. I don't have time for this.
It is.
I have so much work to do from my shadow work. I don't have time for the bullshit. Okay. So for this ritualistic life, I'm going to ritualize my life. Well, everything you do, in essence, is a ritual. You get up every day, probably the same time. You may take the same route to work. That's a ritual, whether you guys want to admit it or not. That's what it is. But but to constantly, as you're stating, be in the two worlds at the same time, but that is the magic of it all, right? Because you can. And it's so funny, I'm laughing. I'm like sitting here doing the same thing. I have certain things in my eyesight that help remind me to stay here, to keep working, to clean and filter, do whatever it is. I'm working here. I do that. I have things at work. I have stuff on my desk. People don't even know the whole meaning of it all, but it's at my desk at work, and then I can look at it, and it can put me back where I need to continue, you know, my work that I need to do for myself, things that I need to do for myself. But that is the work. That is the shadow work. You're constantly here, you know, working to help facilitate things that you want to bring forth into the objective, right? Right. So, yeah.
Yes. And it's important we understand this is how we're going to bring awareness. Because the other thing, and I think we're going to go to questions and open it up for people that want to come in.
Yeah, because you know I need all my sleep.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I know tomorrow you got to get up early. But let me just throw this last comment, and then let's do that. We'll go to that right now. And then whenever you're ready, you got to go. You just let me know. Yeah, I know you will anyway. I ain't got to worry about that. You just be like, peace the fuck out. And stuff. But I definitely don't want to overkeep you. You got to get up in the morning. Totally get it. But this is what, and I'm glad we're talking about the last. I just want to throw this in there. This is the reason. This is gonna bring the awareness of how it's done, because what I mean by that, so I'm clear to everybody listening. People, when I'm saying over the years, there's just people sometimes are trying to get answers to things that are very personal to them on a personal level. And this is why sometimes I might tell you, and some people get a little frustrated, and it's not that you blowing them off. It's just there's certain things you're going to have to come to the realization of on your own. There's certain things you're going to have to get answers to yourself. There's certain things that doesn't matter who or what it is, they're not going to be able to answer it for you, because sometimes a person is asking a question that they must experience, not get a verbal answer to. So how can I explain something when it's on a level of it's personal? Like they'll say, well, they'll ask questions, right? For an example, and you always hear me say this, they'll say stuff like, they'll ask a question that doesn't have what I like to use, a three-dimensional explanation to it, person, place, or thing. And I'll say, if we use the sciences of astral travel and astral projection, out-of-body experiences, transcendental meditation, spirit possession, these are practices that take you outside of three-dimensional existence. And sometimes people are asking questions that are in that realm of understanding. You can't really put a lot of that stuff into words. Those are experiences, and a lot of us have had them. And anyone that's had them on a level that they're genuine and real, know it's very hard to put those things into words. So this is why I'm saying, when you talk about ritualizing your entire life, you talk about a lot of things we're talking about tonight. This is the guide or the roadmap that's going to get you in that direction. That's it. I just wanted to throw that in there, right? It's the best way I could put it. All right, let's do this, because Raven ass got to go to sleep. No, stop. All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Again, if you want to ask it, if you don't want to come in the chat and you're looking scary as hell and you don't want to frighten us, or if you got warrants and you don't want nobody to see you on camera, don't come in. But if you do come in, again, I want to make this clear, because if so, we'll just remove you from the room. Come in. If you have background noise, keep yourself muted. We don't want to hear what's going on in the background. I'm not interested in what you're cooking for dinner. I'm not interested in who's in the background.
I'm not interested at all.
Let's
when
keep.
I like it.
We did it really well last time. Let's keep it in order, synchronized. Or if you just want to type in the chat, come in the chat. So let me go ahead and put the link in. Now, last week, I know, I can't remember who it was. We had one brother couldn't get in. It definitely wasn't on my end. I don't know what that was. So if something like that happens, it's usually something technical with StreamYard. I don't know what to tell you on that. All right, let me put it in the chat. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the live link. If you want to come in live, that's gonna be in the chat. For the meantime, until I see anybody in the queue, I'm gonna go up to the top. If you got a question for Raven or anything that we talked about tonight and you would like to further that discussion, just go ahead and put it in the chat. Let me see what we got. All right, so this was a question, Vinny. I was curious if, what does it say? If someone wants to work with the Clipod, do I have to work with the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life first, or can I go straight to the Clipod? I don't know if it was you. The same question came up last week. Not sure if that was you. All right, real in regards to that, real fast, and then the Raven, is this something you want to answer? You can add to it. I knew Taja was going to be the first one. Brother T, what's going on, brother? Anyway,
yo, what's up?
Chilling.
What's up, sis? How you doing?
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I believe this question came up last week. I'm not saying it was you. It could have been somebody else. You can do whatever you want, right? There is no quote unquote order, but what I'm going to give the same answer I gave last week. You don't have to work with the Kabbalah, but I would suggest you have some foundational knowledge of it to minimum, right? Do you have to do like a lot of the ritual work? Nah, years ago I did some of it before I was on this path, but I can only speak it from a perspective of where I'm at now. No, I wouldn't. But my from that experience, my suggestion, long story short, would be at least have foundational knowledge of the Kabbalistic tree. You need it because it's going to give you further understanding. And it's mentioned in certain scenarios and doctrine that you're going to encounter. So I do think you need to have at least at minimum a foundational understanding of it. All right. Taja, you have a question or you want me to keep going through the chat?
Yeah, well, I just had a few comments, but first off, Raven, before you get off, you gotta plug your products. You know, those wonderful, beautiful products you got.
You get rich in 2 days oil.
No, facts. I mean, her products are the truth, definitely.
Look, I've said it in the past too. She just be on some old humble shit, so I don't try to press the issue because you know her. She get all snippety snappity. I've used something Muerte oil. She's made some oils for me, some stuff like the Anubis oil we used in our Ample ritual several months back. I will say this, and I know you've used several times. I know you've worked with her. She sent you stuff. But yeah, she can make oils for deities, rituals, personal.
My oils are so good because I put that
good in it.
Yeah, and it jumps right out the box when you open it.
Yeah, good. No, go ahead, Taja, man. Let me stop.
Yeah, no, I just had a couple comments.
No, it's that time of the night. I'm getting a little goofy, by the way.
I just had a couple comments on. First off, when you guys were talking about the thing with people's repeating the abuse or the treatment of their parents, I think that when you are, for lack of a better word, in the matrix or in the world, quote unquote, more often than not, I think those cycles repeat because it's a natural thing for us to look to our parents and our guardians, thinking that even if we had a bad experience or even if we had a tough experience, that's the way to do it, and I mean and some people take that on, and that's part of their shadow that they have to deal with. I mean, all of us, even in good situations, like me, I found that having a you know, my childhood from 0 to 7 or 8 was quote unquote perfect, but I found in my shadow work that there's things even in that have affected me that I carry, you
Sure,
know, on now.
sure.
So, you know, I think it's heavy that, you know, we carry that stuff, good, bad, or indifferent, you know, and it's a natural thing for us to say, well, my dad did this, or my mom did that, or my grandma did this. And so this is the line I think I need to follow. But if you're not doing that shadow work, you can't discern where you need to be at for yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. That's an excellent point. See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like listening to your talk, right? And that's one thing we got to do when people there's hearing and then there's listening. And I'm hearing what you're saying. I think you're on point with that.
I'm
Definitely.
glad you're hearing.
Yeah, I'm hearing. I don't know if there's something you want to add to that.
Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. With Tyler, that is shadow work, and we addressed it or talked about it earlier. You know, there could be some good things that's there, or you could have been under the illusion that something has been great, but as you do the work, and that's the work, you come to find out, no, that is something there that has gone beyond your awareness. You lost awareness of it. And what stuck out to you the most was something that was just super positive. That's not a bad thing. You just realize now there's something additional that you have to, you know, work on, right? And that's all it is. I want everybody to understand, you know, and I'm trying to talk about it in a way without being too personal about my own business, but just try to be really overall in it to express the importance of doing the work. You will get no greater satisfaction out of it if you are constantly looking for someone else. The greatest thing that you can do for yourself is the work. That's the best thing you can do. That's the best thing you can offer your family, whatever, is to correct those things in life that need, especially if you come from a background that has been pretty traumatic, right? There is a such thing that, you know, PTSD does not just arrive from the battlefield. I mean, you can be carrying, that's what I was talking about earlier when I was speaking about triggers. You know, I'm trying to say things to get everyone to understand that, you know, you really have to look at this thing. And this thing is it's just not some fly by night deal. It's work. It's going to be the greatest work that you undertake for yourself. Trust when I tell you. And if you're really doing it, people in your circle will see it and they will let you know. And that could be one of the best feelings that you can have there as well, because now not only you know the change and can see it, others can too. But that's the greatest thing that you can do for yourself, is to really face who and truly what it is and who you are, and if people can just stop with this here, going along to get along, I'm going to act like this because everyone else does that. If you can just stop that, yeah, you'll be better off for it. So yeah,
100%. All right, I see we got Jasper entered the room. I'm gonna go to her in 1 second. I see was that a question here? We're gonna come right to you in 1 second, Jack. Welcome. Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, sorry, I muted myself. Hi.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are y'all?
We's a great here.
We're good.
How you doing, Jasper?
Hey.
I want to try to just rotate, bounce back and forth. If I don't see nothing, we're gonna go right to you. Oh, I'm sorry, Taja, my bad. Were you finished? I know you said you had a couple comments. That was one, but go ahead with the next one.
No, by all means, let her go ahead. I can come back to my point.
All right. Hold on. Let me go down here. All right. You guys got a lot of comments. I'm going to skip the comments for the sake of time for Raven. I'm really just looking for questions for her. Important questions.
Yeah, because you know how I feel. He's doing that, guys, because I haven't been on here in a while. So y'all don't know how I behave myself. I don't behave myself. That's why I'll be on here.
let me tell you guys something. Don't
That's why he keep me off his show, because I don't behave.
As I told you, she's one of the locals here, so we see each other a lot. She's full of shit. I know how her ass is. When she get mad, she get mad. All right, what else we got? All right.
No, I don't deal with fuckery. That's what it is. I just don't deal with foolishness. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hold on. Jasper, go ahead with what you want to bring to light. I'm scanning. I just see a lot of comments again.
Yeah, Jasper, come on through.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, first of all, Raven, it's awesome to meet you. I just followed you on Instagram.
Oh, you're so kind.
And
which one? Wait a second. Which
two of them. So two of them. So whichever ones those were.
All right.
I
fun.
did have a question for you. I love that your approach to shadow work is basically just get your ass in there and do it. And I'm working on a lot of stuff right now. One of the main things that I'm working on is my emotional stability. And, you know, I come from a very toxic family environment as a child, and I don't really want to get into it, but I want to get more of an understanding of how you as a practitioner, and everybody as a practitioner, and you specifically as a Black woman, are able to handle your emotional stability and to raise the level of that. Yeah, I guess that's the depth of my question. Just how are you able to work on that? What are some things that helped you if you dealt with that as well? And what do you find beneficial to stabilize your emotions over time?
Yeah, that is work. FYI, that's work. That's a lot of work. Because women in general kind of work from our emotions, right? We're very emotional creatures, as they say. But triggers, I can go there. I can get triggered. So what I have done to better corral that part of me that just want me I want to slap the shit out of you kind of thing is to just be aware of that. Just to be aware of it constantly and be aware that somebody's getting ready to send me over the edge, right? You can see it coming your way. You see it. You know when they get ready to do it, Jasper. You can see it. I remove myself from it. If I can't remove myself from it, I'm still in it. I'm on my square, but I'm still, you know what I mean? I don't give it energy. I don't give that person, that thing, zero energy. And then when I can go and address how that is, what they dredged up in me, then I would deal with it then. But I try not to let people take me off my square, whether they're family, friends, whomever. But for me, when I feel that, you know, I snapping, I check me first because I can only control me, right? And how I react to things. And how I react to things is that I just refuse to give certain things to certain people that level of, and they don't deserve it. They don't deserve that level of, you know, that energy from me. It's mine. I'm going to facilitate it how I want to facilitate it. And if I see them coming with craziness, I'm going to make sure I, just recognize it and remove myself. If I'm in a space that I can't, I'm just still in it. I'm just not going to feed it. I'm still. Not that I'm being weak. You can see it on my face. They can see it on my face. I'm not being weak. I just choose to not give it no energy. So that's how I kind of address handling emotions that can kind of go sideways. And I believe that's what you're speaking of, those strong emotions that just make you want to snap. That's what I did. So I hope that answers your question.
It does, because I am one of those people who was diagnosed with PTSD, as a result of my family environment. And I have been doing the work for many years now to not just overcome it, but to transmute it. So, as strong as my shadow is and as horrifying as she is, like still be able to be a kind person and live a good life and appreciate the people around me instead of being afraid of them. So that does actually really deeply answer my question.
That's a good question. Good answer.
Okay, I'm glad
good
it
answer. Good answer. No, it was a good question, and it's a good answer. And see, this is some of the things, and I like the fact, you know, let's be real. Like sometimes people will bring the question up to me, why do I have a lot of female guests on the show? It's not a discrimination thing. I just think I've said this many times before. Now, Raven knows a few years back we tried to do something. I'm not even going to get into that, but anyway, I think there's a lack of female presence overall in the past. I'm not trying to make it a male-female thing, but it's good that you guys are obviously, and we're not trying to make it just a race thing, but this stuff is real. It exists, right? Let's not pretend we're not living in a world where, and even on this path, there's discrimination on this path. Shit, we did a video on the Temple of Set a couple of years ago, right? And Raven, we talked about it. Kevin was on that video, and we talked about how there was just a lack of diversity in that group. And we were a different breed for them because we were more down to earth, more, you know, and they just weren't used to that. And I know I'm like that. Kevin was like that. I know Raven is like that. And due to the fact we're all here together and we were participating with them in certain things, but we just the type of people, you ain't going to tell us what we can and cannot do. And I think what Raven said's on point. Part of that process is not giving, and I keep telling people, stop giving people, you give them life when you give them your energy and you let them suck you into your bowl. I'm not saying be soft, and you know, that's not what I'm saying. You know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Sometimes people just cross the lines and they're ignorant, and you know, but you try to do what you can and not feeding into that, because that takes from your power, right? It can take from your power. Let's call it for what it is. But this stuff exists. It's real, and that's the reason why it's good when ladies, regardless, Black, white, Latino, whatever, when you guys come on, because I've seen the lack of diversity in a lot of the organizations I belong to. There was a lack of a female presence, and there was a lack of cultural diversity, and we saw that. We saw it and experienced it firsthand.
Yeah, they didn't like that. They didn't like I had my own brain.
and being a Black woman in pretty much a dominated. I think we saw one Asian dude. You know, not too many Latinos or any other ethnicities. It's just, you know, it's the reality. And the myth about this path is, because it's just not talked about mainstream. Don't feed into the false narrative that this is a predominantly Eurocentric path. Yes, when it comes to like back in the day, the Church of Satan and those type of systems, yes. The Gothic vampiric community, yes. I'm not against any of that. I'm not for or against it. I don't come from that perspective. You don't ever hear me talking too much about that type of stuff. And that's why I kind of referred to it, whether you want to call it a journey of self-mastery or a path of self-mastery, whatever. We have to eliminate that narrative, because there are a lot of people from other ethnicities that are on this path that just may not be open about it because it's not widely accepted mainstream. Because, you know, if you are a melanated person from whatever ethnicity, you could be Black, Latino, whatever, mixed, whatever it is, you know, you automatically, if you're conscious, you're into the Kemetic thing, or you're a Hotepper, or you're into Ifa and Santeria, and you know, that's stereotyping, right? So one thing we try to do here on the channel is to break that narrative, right? There's a lot of people from different backgrounds and genders that walk this path, and that needs to be brought to the forefront. And this is why look, you've seen in past shows, it's come up. I get people reach out to email me. I'm this race. Can I be a part of your channel or your page? Why would you even ask me that? Oh, I'm homosexual or I'm gay. I mean, why would you even ask me that? Like, that's stupidity. right? And maybe it's just the lack of not knowing. I get it. So I just want to put that out, make that clear. First of all, I'm not in anybody's bedroom. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't care to know. I'm not investigating it. I'm not looking into it. We deal with people, and I deal with people based on your actions, right? There's good people from all walks of life, and there's assholes. Let's just keep it real. They come in all shapes, sizes, forms, and colors. Let's just keep it real. But that doesn't negate the fact racism is real. It exists. It doesn't negate the fact there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in this world. We're not going to sweep it under the rug either, right? Anyway, what you guys were talking about sparked that. I don't want to go on a tangent.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Beniti,
Oh, goddamn.
you were starting to get dead mad there just now.
Yeah.
Fuck all this
late.
racism. No, it's bullshit.
Yeah. All right, let me not ignore the chat. I see we got a person, S Cuban Nut. Are you in Australia? You say you were Aussie. I'm not sure if I read that right. If so, want to welcome you here. What's up, brother? I know we got somebody.
Where is Lyric? You need to hop on here, Jason.
Jason, come on in, brother. If you're here, if you want to come in, man, come on in. I think we had somebody here from Oklahoma.
If he can tell about those, I'm telling you guys. When y'all saw the switch on Baniti's channel, this is why the switch happened, and it's been a good thing. It's been lovely.
Yeah, we have a comment here from Taj. I know you're still here. If you just want to jump in, just jump in. Same thing, Dragon. If you want to jump in, just jump in. But I'm gonna go through some of these comments in the chat. Makita says, just comment, and I believe it's the foundation I'm looking for now. I've had the experiences of some things that even with words, close the door, that even with words would make sense to the average person. I guess something we were talking about before. Yeah, I guess that sounds like it was in relation. Yeah, everything you experience, especially spiritual, it's going to be hard to put into just average words.
I remember you guys were talking about making life into a ritual, and somebody had said in the chat, like, all of our lives is a spiritual working.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I remember, on last week we were talking about that too, like making life into a ritual, and
correct.
I don't know if I was a bit misleading but I wanted to say it's not an easy thing to just wake up and do that one day. Like, I started going into the whole questioning of, do you even respect yourself in the first place? Right. Right.
No. You definitely weren't unclear on it. You were on point. No, I think it was Marcellus that made the comment, and that's what made me remind it. His comment was correct. I just wanted to expound further. No. Yeah, that did come up last week. I remember. No, you were on point with it. You were right. I just wanted to expound further on it because I think what tends to happen is when I was talking about being in the moment, things of that nature, et cetera, et cetera. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to touch a little deeper on the process. That's all. But no, you were on point. There was nothing. Actually, I'm glad you bring that up. So if some of you guys weren't here last week and you missed it, go back and watch that. All right. Here's a question, Raven. And again, Raven, whenever you feel like, I know you, like you said, you got to get up early. Whenever you feel like it's time for you to, you just
Can I just say hi to everybody?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Raven.
Hello.
Hi.
Dragon Jasper. How you
What's
doing?
up, man?
Oh, good.
Check out Taza coming off smooth.
What's up,
How are you?
Big brother.
Stop fucking with Taza.
All
All right.
Good,
So, Raven, here's a question for you. Gabriel, this is from Gabriel Lara. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Have you ever heard of anyone being born an emissary of the Black Flame, and what are some of the best methods / techniques to cultivate that essence to come onto one's purpose, if that's the case?
Well, I never heard of someone being born an emissary. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, there are some who, right. There are some who will make the claim, right? some of us may or may not. Yeah, it's not something you're going to come across regularly. But let me say this: we all have the essence of the black flame.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do you?
AKA the black sheep.
Yeah. So let me say this: everybody has that within them, whether they're having some type of understanding of being born of it or being an emissary of the black flame. I think we all are, because if you understand the black flame of consciousness and set, right, that's something that I believe is all connected to us, right? What were you saying, Mandy?
I said AKA the black sheep. I would say the black goat, but I mean, being the black sheep of the family, the oddball out, always shunned by family, you know.
Yeah. But there is a term, you'll see it in some occult practitioners' book. There's a term that's referred to. So yes, the answer can be, if you come across it, you can. But I'm going to take it a step further and say that, look, we all have that connection to the black flame, right? We all are emissaries of the black flame, right? We all should be cultivating that, right? Especially if you work with set, right? I mean, that's part of working with set, cultivating the black flame. So again, it's, if you came across somebody, you said that, or if you're referring to yourself, there's probably other dynamics that go in line with that. All right, what else? Any other questions for? Yeah, thanks, Baniti. Thanks, Baniti. Austin and Oz. Okay, soon to live in Valley, 2 months with luck. Okay, wow. So you're way in a different time zone. Wow. All right. Anybody? Taja, I know you also said you had some more. Raven, I just see that's pretty much looks it for the questions. I don't know if you want to take any more from in here, because I know you said you got to get up. So you let me know unless you have.
Yeah, you know how to get up.
I know. All right.
I have a ritual I do every day.
Yeah, I know. You gotta get up early. Anything last for Raven? Anybody here last, going once, going twice, and then if not, I will let Raven give her closing departing remarks, and then one last time, I guess, if you want. I just mention the podcast and whatever else you want to throw out there.
Oh, that Gabriel person said that they were. I'm sorry, Tyza.
No, you good.
That Gabriel person said that they've been a Santísimo Morete devotee for years.
Right.
That eventually got it done. Oh, so they put it in twice?
No, I see it down. I see it now. It's at the bottom here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says, I've been a Santa Muerte devotee for years, that eventually guided me to work with the black flame and the Zazzle, who I feel is that energy has been part of me since I was born, just didn't know. Okay, so that's why I was saying, if you were referring to yourself and it was personal.
Oh, okay.
There's different dynamics that could be governed in it. Yeah. Okay, so that gives a little more clarity to it then. All right, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, my second comment was just when you guys were talking about the whole having a foundation before you get into this. And for me personally, I didn't. I came into it feeling like I was called by Kali, and she walked me right through the fire. But as far as I'm concerned, there was no other way for me to get to this point. Because the point I'm at now, is a point that I've never been in my life, and just finding this whole mechanism of how to operate has been a journey, and still is. But so I was just going to pose that to Raven, like, I don't remember ever hearing how you got on the path.
Tell the Santa story. Go ahead, Raven. Go ahead.
How I got here? Okay. I'll try to make it short and sweet. Good luck on that, but I'll try. Okay. How I got here, man. It's been a journey. Okay, so as we were saying earlier, this whole journey for me started with things in life just wasn't adding up, wasn't seeing, it wasn't right, wasn't clicking for me. And surprisingly enough, it was my son that suggested that I hop on YouTube. Now, I never paid that's not my word. I'm a reader. I'll be in books all day. TV, anything, that's just not my world. So I hopped on YouTube at my son's suggestion. And so I'm on YouTube, listening, looking, searching, seeking, just anything. Had zero clues, Kaiser, about this world. Zero clues about this world. That's what I'm saying. When something, you're supposed to be directed a certain way, you're going to get directed a certain way. And I did have no clue. Came across YouTube channel and listened to, it was Brother Baniti. It was a lot of stuff. It was some occult, but it was history stuff at the time. He would do a lot of talking about. I'm like, So hence, it was a lot of history stuff. Okay, that was part of my foundation. I'm like, okay. And at the end of the podcast, or the talk, he would always give out his location. I said, he for a lot of them. He would always say for a lot of them. He would give out his email address as he does now. And I sent him an email. I'm here. I want to learn. And what was so pivotal about that email that year was that I had decided to, for my birthday, go to the beach, stay on the beach. Yeah, I'm in Florida. I know I'm in South Florida. I'm in the beach area, right? But get out of the house and do it like a tourist. And go to the beach. And that was the same weekend, because he used to teach classes at Sophia's. That was the same weekend. Yep. That was the same weekend.
And mind you, remember at that time, he was only literally right up the street. That was a fucking crazy part. Like literally from where I was at that time, he was 2 blocks away. But anyway,
that's the other crazy part. That's the other crazy part. That's what I'm saying. When things are moving the way they need to move, whether you're cognizant of it or not, because trust me, I wasn't. Well, anyways, so I go there. It was raining. Okay. My brother was supposed to be with me, Lyric. He was supposed to be with me, and he wasn't well. He couldn't be there. And then I left, went back to the hotel. I got some books from Brother Baniti. I was going to chill, read my books. So that's my start on the path, because the more was going to these classes with my brother, the more so my brother, and I'm just really being honest, was like, man, we need to start doing this work. We need to put in this work, right? He's like, I want to do rituals. I want to do this here. And Benita was like, you sure? I let men talk. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, yeah, let's do this here. I'm game, y'all game. So that's what really led us to, or me, doing work. That's how it all started. But what got me to a specific deity that I work with all the time and connected to, was that in the process of, I'm just doing rituals, going there. But that was at the other Sophia's, right? That's where we now have the
that was but actually not the first Sophia. That was with Yehuda.
Yeah, right. That's where we used to have the classes, but now where we have the conference at, that's where we were having the rituals.
Right.
Originally. right? But so now in hindsight, I can see everything more clear. But that was all too in preparation for me to get connected to who I got connected to, right? I didn't know, again, never did a ritual in my life, never saw anything, but I was there for it. I wasn't afraid. My brother wasn't afraid. I had my brother, and as a matter of fact, his son was 12 at the time. Okay? Participating. But anywho, what got me connected to a specific deity, we have this spot that we go to get our supplies, our ritual supplies. And I was going down this aisle, and I kept spotting Santissima Muerte, right? I'll go down another aisle. There it is again. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why is this here keep catching my eye? I'm looking for other stuff. You know, I'm trying to figure this out. I go clean cross town to another spot, the Mystic Sisters, right? Yes. I go there, just bebopping, not really looking for anything. I just want to see what was going on, what they had. And it hit me again, but not all the way there. It was sitting in back of my mind, like, why is this? Is this the thing that, you know, Baniti be talking about, these feelings when you start to get connected? Is this what's going on? And when I got to the second spot, now the second spot, they have gotten, okay, let's say a little bit more darker. But back then, they were really presenting things that was more right-hand path, right? All your crystals and stuff like that, right? They would do more there. Now you can get some darker things from there, right? But I went on their bookshelf, book, Santissima Muerte. I'm like, okay, I need to call Brother Baniti. I need an explanation of what the hell is going on here. And he was like, yeah, I think that is what's going on. But now hold on. I'm like, okay, right? I'm still chilling, right? I'm like, okay. And I kind of left it at that, okay. But what did it was that he was doing something for my son. And we had to go to the, almost say the Botanica, okay? Excuse me. So we went, and we was in there. And you remember that? Look up.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, we're doing everything for my son. Nothing to do with me. Again, it was in back my mind. I already spoke to Baniti about it. I'm like, okay. We go to the store, and what is called now? Because I'm going to keep saying Botanica because that's in my head. The place.
You talk about the one in I sample.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you call it? San Lazaro.
There you go. You go. And we buying everything that is in essence for my son. Okay. Yes, I got the notice that I need to start working with Santissima Muerte. I ain't on my radar right now. I need my son figured out. Right.
Well, we were there creating it. We had to make an Ogun pot for him. We were making an Ogun pot. Okay. We were getting his warriors, his implements, and I was there talking, because that's a Brazilian lady that runs that, someone I was dealing with for years. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, thanks for you telling them the reason why. Okay. But in the midst of getting all his stuff, we look up, and guess what? We see they had a statue there of Santissima Muerte, and that was it. I'm like, I gotta get it. He was like, yeah, I think so too. And that what in essence started my whole journey. I created a small altar. Now you should see it's taking up a whole space. I had a small altar, and I said, oh, well, I'm supposed to be working with Santísima. Well, let me do it. No fear. I went in there full speed ahead. I lit a little candle, incense, went into a meditative state, and from that point, Tyser, it's been a wrap. And there was another instance where I had to put Baniti back on the phone, like, look, what the hell just happened? Because
I've been there.
it was just like that. It was like, okay, I just went on a whole world trip. Some stuff happened in this here. I knew it wasn't, to this here day, I can remember it vividly to this here day. I'm talking about 6 years ago, to this here day, vivid. What happened? And I'm like, you're gonna have to help me understand this here. I had my own ideas. But he was like, you need to do this here. You need to go outside. You need to get grounded. You need to do. Because it was something. It was something. But that's what got me.
I was just about to ask you, when you first started with her, was it all from intuition when you started, like working with her? Just go off of felt.
Okay, so
and all the implements and everything. Obviously, of course, Baniti helps us all with stuff like that. But as far as your connection with her and setting up your altar and the things that you wanted to place with her and all those other things, did that come from within?
As a lot of things that I do, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, I get knowledge, but then I roll with what's comfortable to me. Because I do things that others don't do. And I think Baniti has said it before, like when he works with Santísima, I use both. I can give her, I can offer tequila, dark. I can do it white. I do coffee, cigars. You know, every now and then I do pull a.
What happened? You froze, Raven. I don't know if you can hear me. We lost Raven. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear me, Raven, but you froze up. You might have to go out, come back in. Let me text her just to make sure. I don't think she.
I don't want her talking about her. She was like, y'all ain't gonna learn today.
Hold on, I'm texting her to go out and come back.
But you're big on that though, Baniti. When you speak on Santísima Muerte, how you could read as many books as you want, and you have mentioned an amazing book. I don't have it right here with me, but that, you know, speaks about a lot of her different aspects and she likes. And there's also a lot of other people that you could follow on YouTube, and people follow to the T. But at the end of the day, your connection with her will let you know.
Correct.
What she likes and what she
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you froze. Go ahead, man. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I don't know where I was.
Right.
You were well. You were talking about how your personal connection with her and how your knowledge of her from Baniti and from reading and all other things, but how you go with the flow of things, and that's how you've connected with her.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, that's how I connect to her. That's how I do a lot. I hope I haven't frozen again. Did I freeze?
Like,
no, you're good.
Okay, all right.
Have you ever seen her face like literally change, like smile or make a face or a face? Have you ever seen like her whole face just change, or like something move on the altar, or just, you know what I'm talking about?
Everyone has their different experiences. Yes, I have. But I'm just gonna preference that everyone has their own experience. So I don't want to put that out there. So if someone starts working with her, they think that the same thing is going to happen. It just is with Santísima Muerte or any other deity. It is truly your personal connection to them. Like that's my mom. Okay. that's it. I understand with working with her, my connection has always been to her. And I can see it in my life experiences. Just to say that as well. But yeah, everyone's experience will be different. Like you got Gabriel on here. He's a devotee of Santissima Muerte. It may be from the traditional sense, I'm not sure, but his experience will be something different as well. So yes, but I have to answer the question.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else? I don't know, Raven, if there's anything else you want to add. If you got to go, unless you want to say your closing comments, that's up to you.
Well, let me just say, yeah. I have a podcast. It is Raven's Fireside Chat. Now, I am as consistent with it at this point as I could be, because the work is first. For me, the work is first. But on the podcast, there's a year's worth of listening. Again, I try not to do no more than 30 minutes. And it is really centered and geared towards self-mastery. And I try to speak on it from a place where I believe everyone can get it. I don't try to do it from a low level where you're going deep down in the roots. I try to do a very high level so everyone can, glean something, hopefully, and continue their journey of self-mastery. So that is Raven's Fireside Chat. I do have, Instagram by that handle, Twitter by that handle, and you can find the podcast on pretty much all platforms, Apple, Spotify, the big main ones, Google. You should be able to find it. And I am lining up some guests. Guests are, some of them will be clinical, people that have degrees and are licensed. And there will also be people that are not on this path, but they are on the path, if you follow what I'm saying. They may have gone through some traumatic things themselves, but can lend something to the conversation on self-mastery, what you can do, or give you some ideas to help you, overcome. And then some, like Baniti, need to get on there, just have a conversation about the path, right? So that's what I'm working on for the podcast. But I do get on there still and just, give some information I think is useful for everyone. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The website. Okay. I have a YouTube channel. Y'all go there, like and subscribe. It's called Raven Heka. I forgot about that. I'm going to start uploading back on my YouTube channel. So my YouTube is Raven Heka. It's some stuff over there as well.
Okay.
Again, I just try to give knowledge. Anywho's right.
Are you still creating? Are you still doing your soaps and your herbs and stuff like that? Because they were the bomb, girl.
Oh, you're so kind. Everyone, I thank you guys for being so kind, for the lovely, encouraging words on thy products. So what do I do? The website is up. It has always been up. Kaiser would know I would take it down in a nanosecond and then forget about it. But right now, it's really a lot of special orders that I do, because I have been in the midst of revamping everything and moving into a new space for Raven Heka Mystical Shop. So I still do it. It's still there. It's just ravenheka.com. That is it. I have a link tree. So you can go to Linktree / Raven Heka. You will find all of my internet footprint. So yeah, there you go. If you want to come on the show, I'm telling you guys, I'm very open to it. You know, let's get into these topics. Let's be about mastering ourselves, and really having real conversations around it. Not none of this here. I almost said something, but not none of this foolishness that everyone else does. Play occult, play like they're working with some energies when they're not. So let's have these real conversations. So yeah, there you go.
All right. All right. Well, we want to thank you for coming by. I appreciate you swinging.
I appreciate the invite.
I'll see you tomorrow for the ritual. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, I'm out.
And we will talk soon. Get some sleep.
Peace. All right, guys. Have a great one.
All right, thanks. All right, so stay on just for a little bit. I got some stuff I got to get up and do in the morning. But yeah, I mean, the key, really simple, right? One of the themes I started out with early in the year, like I said, this is the year of not talking about it. It's about just being about it. Let your actions speak. Sometimes too much talking in the sense of lip service, right? Reality is your ritual work is going to produce the results you're getting, or that you're not getting, I should say. It's very important we stay on top of this.
Even when they whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. We have to stay on top of this because, if we're not consistent at what we do, then we're not going to get consistent results. All right. So very important. That's what we started out the beginning of this year with. We have to make sure we keep doing that, because again, one of the things people will always reach out, and this happens all the time, and I've mentioned this many times. People will reach out and they'll say, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. And then I ask them what they've been doing, and there's no body of work there, which means there's no consistency there. And that's usually a telltale answer of why nothing may not be happening. Okay. So again, reading books is great. I know a lot of us here have tons of books, and we need them, right? For the research, to gain the knowledge, all of those things. I get that. We need it. But we also got to be practical and put that work in and do what we need to do. All right. All right. I don't know anybody else. Again,
I'd like to just add on to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm currently reading Rick Rubin's book, and the title escapes me right now. I think it's creative something. But one of the sayings he has in there, he says, if you're trying to get somewhere, the most important step is putting your butt where you want your heart to be. And in a sense of saying, you got to put the work in. You got to, whatever it is, find some level of consistency. You talk about that all the time. And, I mean, there's times when life is going to get in the way, but I found that even if what's consistent to you is doing something for 5 to 7 minutes every 2 days, and you do that weekly, that you can build on that. It's not a
creative.
What was that?
The Creative Act by Rick Rubin.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you build, you just got to give yourself something to build on, and if you put the work in, I mean, I found that for myself personally. If I don't put the work in, I see myself coming off track a lot more simply and a lot more easily than, continuing to lay down that track to keep my wheels on,
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, again, taking those concepts, and applying them, that's the key, right? Any books like that, whether you're using creative thought form, any books in regards that are showing you how to use the power of your mind, that's key, right? And being able, I mean, the greatest feeling, long story short, when people always ask, am I doing the right thing? When you're getting results, that's it. That's how you gauge it. It's that simple. People make this shit so complicated sometimes. This and that. I'm wondering. And they just all over. That's what I meant earlier, very, very early portion of the show. I'm not sure if everybody was here. That's what I meant when I was talking about you kind of got to have that foundation, right? You know you have a foundation if you're seeing the results. It's not so much of importance to the degree of what you're doing, right? It's not a matter if people agree with what you're doing, right? Because everybody's going to have their own opinion and perspective. I see certain things that I probably wouldn't do, but before I'm quick to pass judgment on it, I look and I go, well, if that person is getting results, hey.
And at the end of the day, too, Baniti, like you know, like there's a time where, okay, sometimes you just need to sit and give yourself grace and be in hermit mode, but you know when you're milking it. You know when
100%.
you're taking advantage or being lazy, you're not doing the work, you're not putting it in. Like your intuition's going to tell you, it's going to kick you 100%. In your ass. Like you need to get up and do what you need to do because nobody's going to do it for you except for you. Like
exactly. No, 100%. 100%. So I mean, that's the key.
And like I had my ass booked 2022. Like a long moment in time where I had to give myself grace, but nobody was gonna get me up except for me. And I got up and I did it and I started doing the work and I stayed consistent. And yeah, the ebbs and flows of life, they come, but you gotta be able to call yourself out on your shit and also have a tribe to be able to call you out on your shit. I am so grateful for all of you. Like
no. Life will, I have said many times before, life is the best teacher. And sometimes you got to go through your moments and you got to go through your shit and get that understanding. It's part of the process. And guess what? It's okay. I tell people it's okay. Mistakes happen, shit goes down, and that's fine.
But what'd you learn?
As long as you're learning from it.
Right.
When it keeps repeating itself, that's when it's on you. That's on you. Can't blame nobody else. That's totally on you. And one thing we're taught from day one on this path, we never play the role of the victim.
Right.
Right. Regardless of what's going on. I mean, I had to reflect back on that, years ago, dealing with certain people, business dealings, being involved in certain circles and things of that nature. And I came to the realization was I was consciously, whether I didn't want to maybe admit it at that time, but I was consciously putting myself into situations that were not productive for me. And I had to own up to that. I had to take ownership to that and I had to make the changes. Nothing changed until, like in that situation, I had to cut all that shit off. Right. I mean, the change and the level of how drastic the change was basically wiping everything out. And when I did, long story short, when I did what I needed to do, that's when stuff started to really change and work. And sometimes life teaches you those lessons, and it's okay. Again, it's okay. Guess what? We're going to make more mistakes as we move forward. You're always going to make some mistakes, but when you're grounded in your path, it's easier to deal with bullshit when you've got that foundation, you got that consistency.
And when you're being consistent with the work, that cycle literally comes back full circle faster and faster and faster until you finally catch it. Because when it came back full circle for me, it didn't take a year. It didn't take 3 years. It literally took 3 months and it was right smack in front of my face. And I took it and ran with it. Like, okay. Lesson learned. We ain't doing that again.
100%. I see amazing Nini says, she's gone, but I see you asked Raven, do you ship your products to Europe? I believe she does, but let me just say this, not to speak for her. Obviously, being overseas, I know there's a little bit of a process because what she ships, liquids and things of that nature. So it's probably a little bit more money for that process. But anyway, hit her up, contact her on one of her platforms. Amazing Nini. I know she has done it in the past, but I don't want to give you any incorrect information on the process. There is, because if you order oils, for example, and I know this too, dealing with some people overseas with oils and liquids, it's a little bit more stricter and it's a little more costly. But again, get with her and I'm sure she can help.
Your chaos
Say it again.
oil. You need to make some of your chaos oil again. I need some of that.
I have it. I just keep, you got to stay on me. I have it.
Please. Yeah, we
I need to promote it. I keep forgetting to put it back out there. I have some. I have a batch here. I just, with everything going on, I keep forgetting to put that back out there. But you just reminded me. I think I'm gonna put that back out there.
Her chaos oil, but Raven's oils, her herbs, her soaps, all her stuff is amazing, amazing.
And I can tell you this: it's when I say it's handmade from scratch. Because when I go over there sometimes in the room that she works in, you walk in there, you get knocked the fuck out because of all the shit that she works with. It's good stuff.
As soon as you package and you use whatever you're using it for, whether it's anointing candles or using it in your bath or using it for ritual work, it's absolutely amazing. So for sure,
definitely. All right. I think I don't see any more questions. I think I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight anyway.
Pleasure being on here for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll get you on. Yeah, no. We'll get you on.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. We'll get you on. I'm gonna wrap this up for the evening. But real quick, last note: tomorrow, if you're on Patreon, we got the ritual annual feast rite of Set, 8:15 p.m. I encourage you to go to the Patreon channel, patreon.com/Baniti, BANITI. I recommend you join tier 3. That'll give you access to all the monthly classes and the monthly ritual we do every month. That's the best way to participate. Keep up to date with what we're doing here. We will have some more guests coming on. Like I was telling Mama Muerte, we also have Sister Kiona coming back, Cosmic Serpent, and there's somebody else. I think, I'm going to reach out to Warlock Asylum and Dr. Bynum and set some dates with them.
Nice.
And then we'll go from there. And then probably I'll get back on here at some point. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break.
But I got the Lilith book from Aston F. Mason.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's an awesome book. Awesome book.
Stunning book.
It is. I'd recommend, again, if you didn't see that video, we did the book. 100% recommend it. All right, people, as usual, I thank you guys. I appreciate your support. I thank you for supporting the platform. Thank you for supporting the YouTube, the Instagram, Facebook, Patreon. Much appreciated. That's why we do this. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk soon. Yeah. Infernal blessings. All right.